what's up YouTube? It's your favorite Rubberducky here with
FizzyMoto. All the way in Australia, man. All the way in Australia.
Straya.
Australia, mate. Australia.
So my first thing here is I want to open up with I am like your most typical ignorant American, and the only thing I know about Straya is that the platypus is the state animal of New South Wales, and I only know that because of the platypus part.
Yep, and I'm not even in that state, so that's how well this vlog's gonna go.
You know, off to a great start. My only knowledge has no relevance.
Yeah, we'll just make it up as we go, guys. Don't worry. We'll do this.
I know we wanted to mention a little bit about the differences on riding between here and there.
Yes.
One thing that kind of... Oh, this Mustang wants to... Sorry, I had a Mustang that wanted to race.
Ah, fair enough.
One of the differences is in the fact of getting your bikes, where in good old America, we can go and pretty much get whatever bike we please right off the bat with no proof of insurance or license. And in Straya, it's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, we have ridiculously strict rules on buying bikes, licensing, the works. It's worse than getting your license in a car.
Really?
There is just so much more testing. Yeah, now we have in the car, you have minimum 120 hours to get your learners in a car. Sorry, to get your probationer in a car. On a bike, you have 3 days of testing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's not cheap. It's close to $1,000 AU just to get your license.
Oh my! So that's like about $900 US.
It's expensive. Yes, it's very expensive. It's good in a way because it's you know, it's a lot safer for riders, which is anything to make riding safer is better. That's a given.
Absolutely.
But it does mean that there is less bikes out there. And of course, as riders, we want as many bikes as possible on the road.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a catch-22 there.
It is, yeah.
See, in America, where getting your license, a lot of people ride unlicensed in America to begin with, which is just a whole nother problem.
Just to ride, yep.
Yep, but then as it goes, when you get your license here, it's pretty much, you can take an MSF course, which is the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, and that's like a 3-day course, and then you can waive your skills test and then get your license. Or you can pretty much show up at the DMV with a bike and say, let's do this, Leroy Jenkins style.
Really? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can just show up, be like, yeah, I know how to ride a bike, I'm not stupid, and then they'll be like, okay, here you go.
Yeah, you rode here on one, so yeah. Wow, yeah, even with buying bikes here, they will not let you buy a bike unless you have your learners already. And you're also restricted, very restricted on a bike. We've only just started getting 600s that are learner legal.
Really?
Before that it was 250s, 300s, that type of thing. It was, yeah, very, very restricted.
Wow, that's insane.
Well, I started on a 250 and it was, yeah, it was fine. A little bit small for me. I'm not a small guy, so the 250 was a little bit sluggish, but it's safe. I mean, I learnt heaps on that type of bike.
Right. Well, see, when I bought my 300, I went into the dealership with no license, and all they asked was that I had proof of insurance, and the insurance company didn't even care if I had a license or not. They just cared if I had the money.
Yeah, as long as you could pay them, that's all that mattered.
Yeah, that's corporate America right there. They don't give a fuck about anything other than your money.
Exactly, yeah. We're Ours is, yeah, it's crazy. I tried, like my license was booked in, the test was booked in. I went in the day before to the dealership and said, that's the bike I want. They had it sitting there, I was ready to go. Had the finance ready, the works, that was all done. And they basically said, come back tomorrow after you got your license.
Wow. Man.
I mean, it is good, but it's kind of a pain in the ass because a lot of people could start on a 600 quite easily.
Yeah.
As long as you're not, a dickhead about it, you could do it.
The bike isn't going to do anything that you don't want it to do.
Yeah, exactly. The main issue I have with the restrictions is Australia is so big. It's such a large country that to get anywhere, you need to go on freeways, highways, everything else.
Right.
If you've got a tiny little 250 or a 300, the bike struggles to cruise at the speed limit. You really have to rev the hell out of it to get it anywhere.
Yes, I do remember that.
And that's not safe.
No, it's not. So that's kind of your one thing. I do remember that a lot about my 300, is when I was riding on the highway, it was in 6th gear, pegging out at like 11 grand, and it revved up to like 13. It's just like, dang.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Well, actually, with me on my 250, my Ninja 250, it couldn't do the speed limit. Our speed limit here on the highway is 110, but you can sit at about 115 kilometers per hour. And my bike did 105 with me on it, top speed.
Oh man, that's a struggle bus right there.
Yeah, so when you're cruising along on your little 250, mind you it was bright green, but when you're cruising along at that and there's cars coming right up your ass, like really close to your ass before they overtake you, that doesn't feel safe.
No, I can imagine you being a little perturbed about that.
Yeah, you sort of really have to, you're watching more behind you than what you are in front of you. It's not safe.
No, not at all. So that's a big difference out there then.
Yeah. I mean, the 650s now are a lot better, but it's still one of those things. If you need to overtake, you really have to think about it.
Right. And I think that's one of the driving forces in America, aside from our like raging hard on for freedom, is the fact that we're also a rather large country.
It's America. It's cars, freedom, and guns.